The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to the third edition of The Buzz that has to do with political self-determination. In a different aspect of that, I've got two young ladies here tonight. They are Suruhana apprentices. Yes, we're going to get healed tonight. We have Ursula Herrera, okay, a Suruhana apprentice, and Muñeca Dioro, a Suruhana apprentice as well. Good evening, ladies. How you doing?
Happy day,
Hey, well, thank you very much. Masi, thank you for coming this evening. A different aspect of political self-determination, herb-wise, healing-wise. Ladies, please, I'm going to throw it out. I want to get healed tonight, so please, determine my fate.
Well, in my article that I wrote for the Micronesian Educator, which you're focusing on these series of episodes, I focused on the coconut tree, or tree of life, the nizuk, yes, and I looked at the centrality of the coconut tree, the importance of the coconut tree in our survival and our settlement to the islands, and as a symbol for self-determination. The nizuk is something that's been a part of our people for so long, and a part of any tropical island, really. It's the tree of life. Every part has a special meaning and a special use, and a name. And really what's happening with the rhino beetle and our communities' reaction and response to it is something that needs, just like self-determination, needs a lot more wider response, wider community efforts to protect our nizuk for future generations. That's something that self-determination needs to, not just something that we speak about in the political high levels, or not something that we just do within the university level. It's something that every single person needs to really take ownership of. And exploring the uses of the coconut tree, from making your own coconut oil to making your own coconut water, and being more reliant and actually interacting with our own resources instead of buying them and being reliant on imports, is something that we all should do, and it's something that empowers us.
Yeah, you know, and actually the first two episodes I spoke to Dr. Bravacqua and Lola, the young girl, about this in regards to the educator, the role of the educator. And the educator basically is ourselves. Basically, we educate, our brothers and sisters, our kids, and things like that as well. And the immersion of, again, the culture into this thing. So how do we? Again, it's not just the role of the educator per se as the profession, but in ourselves, what do we do in ourselves to move towards getting closer to determining our political future? What do we do in our daily lives, again, to again be aware of who we are as a culture, and the need, again, to move away from where we're at this point to the next step?
I think one of the key things is how we nourish ourselves, and then the notion that food is medicine, medicine is food. We need to look back at that and how our ancestors nourished themselves off the land. We have food, we have medicine. So something like mango, for example, we know it as an escabeti or golehagunsuni as the key, the coloring. But it's a very medicinal plant, it's anti-inflammatory. There's a lot of research out, and a lot of cultures use it. So that incorporating that part into our food, into cooking, getting our kids out and growing it and seeing it from sprout to our mouths, and to ingesting it and feeling that and knowing that. I think that is very key, because it centers us, and it gives us balance, and we can respect and fight for nature that way.
And I understand that, but how do we move from where we're at right now? Okay, we're in the age of, oh man, I'm very hungry, and I don't have to wait months to grow my food, right? I can just go through a drive-through and get this. So, we are in a very convenient world at this point, right? And not a lot of us now live in apartments and condominiums, so we don't have we don't have this plot of land that we can grow. So we have moved towards that. So this is where we are at this point. We have this. We have, of course, in a couple of months here, we have FESPAC basically, and then this thing that the Zika virus, right? So we have these medicines. So how, again, do we balance that, and how do we go about, because we have things now that we've become westernized, Americanized, and to tackle that, a lot of how we curtail that or tackle some of the things that happen right now, we really can't go back to where we were before in some of the problems that we're dealing right now. I mean,
I think-
I may be wrong. Please correct me.
I think, we have to remember that we have a 1,000-year history here, and only really in the last 70 years has our lifestyle changed to a more modern Western money-based economy. But we have a whole history, and people still today fish, hunt, farm for their own subsistence, and those people that do that are more
into the conservation
willing,
officer catches them.
are more willing to be stewards of our environment, and regardless of who, for us, I feel like regardless of who our colonizer is, our role as the indigenous people is to take care of the land and to take care of our people. And right now, with all of our modern conveniences, we are suffering at epidemic rates of obesity, of diabetes, of all these different lifestyle diseases of affluence that we need to kind of regain our traditions and remember who we are, because that's what kept us here surviving and thriving in our own islands. And if our lifestyle has changed to the point where we're harming ourselves and harming our environment, then we need to take a look at that and see what are things that we can do, whether it's exploring our plants more and using our resources more.
Growing a
Growing
plant,
our-
bringing
yeah.
it, bring one, even if it's
Growing
one,
our own food.
one plant, bringing it home, sprouting it, growing it, and caring for it. That's one little duk step that could make all the difference. You know?
And the more reliant we are on ourselves and on each other and our own land, the more empowered we are to want to move from the personal to the political and fight for our political rights and realize our self-determination. That's something that I make the argument in my article, and it's something that we're working towards and seeing every day by interacting in plants and learning our healing methods and perpetuating that art.
So basically what you're saying, ladies, is this. Basically be grounded, know who you are, where you came from, where you're going to go. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to give up the comforts of what you're doing right now, but just remember where you are and who you are and where you're going and how to get there. That's what you're saying, right? And where you came from.
Yeah, embracing that indigenous knowledge, that sacred knowledge that is in us, is within us, that's been passed down to us. It's living in us and tapping into that.
Now, let me ask you about this question, because you are Sorahana apprentices.
We like the term zo'amti.
Zo'amti,
Yeah,
zo'amti,
zo'amti,
okay.
zo'amti.
Now let me ask you this, and maybe this is a myth, this is something that, because growing up, okay, I mean, I don't think I saw a doctor until about maybe ready to go to school to get the vaccination and all that, but yeah, the Sorahana, whatever, man, whatever it is, they take this thing in the gauze and they lumuk in your mouth, and you're screaming and hollering, and mom get the quatta at you for throwing it back up and all this, right? So anyway,
I hope it wasn't traumatic for everybody.
Yeah, I hated it. But anyway, that being said, there are certain people within your community or the village that were Sarahanos or Sarahanas, okay? And it was not something that, I want to be a Sarahana, I want to be a Sarahana. You had to have the gift.
Right.
You had to have if you were working on the hands and you're massaging, Malik Kanaimu. You had to, like a green thumb or something, right? It's not just a gift that everybody has, okay? It's passed down.
Right.
Our ancestors passed down, and you have a family. You're a family of Surahanos or Surahanas, right? It's not that, hey, I want to be Surahano. Nah, end up in Surahano. All that, right? I mean, I can massage you, and you. Yeah. When you're gonna, you massage, it can get worse. Basically that, okay? So how do you become that? I mean, do you come from families of Surahanos or Surahanas?
I was basically my grandma's little shadow. I really loved cooking. She was her own herbalist, I want to say. Maybe she didn't heal the village, but she lived at Gumachunkaladot.
Okay.
But anytime she had a chance to go out into the jungle and at the ranches, and she would pick omelet, and I would just follow her and pick with her, and then she'd bring it home and make omelet. And we all have that memory of right before school starts, on top of the actual allopathic vaccinations, we got our own immune boosters from Tanbabi or Hadzi, to umpty us. And so that was my memory, and just wanting to perpetuate it. Went to school to study actually herbal science. So to learn and to embrace that, so you can have both. What do we say? 21st century ancient Chamorros. You can merge the two and have a beautiful balance. But there's definitely right now it's plant identification and really getting intimate with the plant knowledge. And when they decide, and the Zomties decide that they're willing to share the recipes with you, that's an honor. That's an honor. And we never asked, we're not tafu about it. And with working with them, and they felt comfortable and felt that we're
And when
Shared
reading
it
that,
with
yeah, I
us.
knew that you were coming aboard. I said, well, wait a minute, because I know, again, it's not something that you aspire to be. It's innate.
It's a calling.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a calling. It's
I
not.
too
Yeah,
have,
And she comes
yeah,
from
and I
her
come from a
lineage.
healer. My
Oh,
grandmother, both my grandmas are in the healing fields. My grandmother is a westernized, one of my grandmothers is a westernized nurse, and I had another
Okay.
that was a Sir Ahana.
Okay.
And I think she became a Sir Ahana out of necessity. She had crazy wild kids, 9
Yeah.
of them, and she had to heal them herself because because she didn't have a car, and taking the kids all the way to GMH was far. But we came together. Actually, our friendship grew because we are part of a organization called Haza Foundation,
Okay.
whose main purpose is to enhance the wellness, the well-being of our people. And we, in 2012, right,
Yeah,
put on the
2012.
first Omelet conference, and we've done many different omelet workshops and have reached out to different healers throughout the Mariana
Throughout the
Islands,
Marianas.
supported different omelet endeavors from the omelet farm, Omelet Tatatano farm in Swamp
Okay.
Road, and doing a lot of, and just working it with healers, the Zo'amti,
Okay.
as much as we can.
Hold on to that thought. I got some healing to do and pay some bills, and then we'll be right back, okay? Be right back.